Welcome to another episode of the Protein Bros podcast, guys. We are very excited for this one. If you have not heard of Alphonso Hodge, goes by Zoe. Zoe was drafted in the NFL in 2005 by the Chiefs. He's bounced around to a couple different teams, but what we really want to zero in on is the impact that he has on his community. He has a youth football team that he runs right now. He has a gym that helps with sports performance called Do Work Factory. He also has a restaurant. He's tried his hands in a lot of different things, and they've all had some success. And I want you guys to hear what he's gone through, because he's gone through so much to get to this point. One of my favorite stories, he had to take 4 different buses just to go to a predominantly white private high school, just to get looks, to get noticed in his football career. And I think it's really, really, really cool to hear about how he's persevered in his life and never was a victim of his circumstances and always stood up for things. And I think it's really exciting to hear. And what I liked about him most is that what most people would look at as too much work, he looked at as opportunity, and he turned it into something. And he gives a really, really great detailed message about what it was like for him on his draft day, not going when he thought he was going to go, having 300 people in his house. You'll hear about it on the episode. You'll hear about, just being a victim of circumstances at times and still not quitting and never having a never say die attitude, and how what's helped him become the man that he is today. You'll hear about his kids and what they've done, and now how they are also in playing college ball. And we talk a lot about the NIL deals going on with college kids and how they can get paid at a younger age, and his opinions on that. So if you're a fan of football, if you're a fan of sports, or you're just a fan of a story about somebody making something out of nothing as far as their opportunity goes, this is the episode for you. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. Let us know in the comments. And as always, thanks for listening. Let's get to the episode. What I want to make sure I have right, facts right, is you went to the U, right?
No, I went to Miami of Ohio.
What? See, this is why we
real Miami. We was here first.
Well, that's why we got to talk through that.
The notes are right.
You were there with Ben Roethlisberger then.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. 1809.
Big Ben.
Baby.
Yeah, dude, that was. Big Ben got drafted on the same year as you were coming out, right?
Absolutely. So we actually came in together. He ended up leaving early.
Right.
I got drafted the next year after him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ben was number 10 overall, I believe.
Yeah. 11.
11?
Ooh, this is bad. 10 or 11. I'm pretty sure it was 11.
Let's look at it. Let's look
Was
it
you
up,
guys'
Luke.
biggest rival, isn't it? Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, yes.
You guys just won.
Yeah.
Just upset them.
We brought the bell home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Crazy thing. You go into our facility, in our locker room, and in the bathroom. Yes, that's right. Good. I was right.
No, he was 11,
Yeah, 11.
and hey, just so we're on the same page, I want to say 2 other quarterbacks were drafted before him.
Absolutely.
It was a solid.
It was Eli and Phillip.
Yes. Eli and Phillip, yep, and then they end up swapping the picks.
Eli was number 1 overall, and he went to San Diego, and San Diego kind of hedged his bets, because this is like the last quarterback to do this. I don't think any other quarterback has done this since Eli.
Corner DeMarcus said, "I'm not coming."
What's that?
Yeah,
Corner
didn't he
DeMarcus
just say
said,
like,
"I'm not coming."
Yeah.
So either the Giants can swap picks, or I don't know.
John Elway did this, and they're saying Caleb Williams might do this now.
Yeah.
Because if he's like, I'm not going to Arizona.
Yeah.
His dad's like, he'll stay in another year if he needs to.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
That's crazy. But yeah, they swapped draft picks. That's crazy, man.
I feel like Arizona's not nearly as bad as like going to the Browns, where like quarterbacks go to die.
Hey.
He's from Cleveland, bro.
I'm sorry, dude, but that's true. Except for you got
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson now, so that's like the best you guys have had for a long time.
Ever since Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
Very true. I mean, you guys even had, when they came back in '99 with Tim Couch.
Yeah, Tim Couch, Kentucky guy, man.
Yeah, so many people that gave you hope, though.
Yeah,
tons of hope.
Yeah. We've always just been missing that piece. You know what I mean? If we can get a good quarterback in there, I really feel that the Browns can be a really good football team. Their defense always been stout.
I was about to say,
My gosh.
They're number 1 in every category.
Yeah.
Let's be clear, they're 2-1 right now.
They're 2-1.
And I think they're going to be a lot tougher than people think.
Absolutely.
Especially with that defense, Myles Garrett keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, he definitely got them rolling.
I'm with you. So have you always been passionate about football, even as a young kid?
Always.
Were you a 3-sport athlete, 4-sport athlete, or 1-sport athlete?
Football.
Just football?
Football.
Love it.
I ran track. I wrestled a little bit, but it was all for football. Everything I did was for football.
What age did you start?
6 years old.
Damn, dude. That's so. tell us about that connection to youth football. You run a youth football team here now.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
The LSN Chiefs.
LSN for Lee Summit or
Lee Summit North. Yep, that's our home base, Lee Summit North. Is very dear to me. You know what I mean? Coming from where I came from, you know what I mean. It takes a village when you know a little less fortunate, and I definitely have to pay credit to my little league organization that I play for. So I basically try to model ourselves off of, you know, some of the experiences that I had back when I played.
Can we talk a little bit more about
look,
this?
Look at
because this is like, these are the most,
dude. This is
the swaggiest looking team I've ever seen.
I don't
That's
even.
my son, number 3, right there scoring.
I love that. What's his
My
name?
baby boy. His name's Aiden Hodge.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, look at him.
Very
Dude,
cool,
look at that. He's got the visor.
Bro,
Yeah.
you know how, man, if you pulled up like a picture of me playing junior football, it's like, you know, like the forearm pads, like just not like the baggy jerseys. It's
Come
like,
on, dude. Cowboy collar.
Cowboy collar.
Had to have a cowboy
I didn't get a
collar.
cowboy collar until like, you know, middle school, and that was short lived.
I had the roll. Not
Yeah,
even
the
the
neck
cowboy.
roll.
Yeah. The roll.
Yeah.
You were probably so good at football that you probably were like a quarterback growing up, right? That's where they put best athletes.
Well, this is what's funny, and this is what I try to reiterate to my kids is, I proudly say that I wasn't the best player on my football team. I was just one of the ones that really locked in and like really made the sacrifices that needed to be made. You know, it was a lot of kids that was, well, I wouldn't say a lot. I was pretty good, but it was a few kids that was better than me. My first position, I played offensive guard, but with that, it taught me the toughness, you know, of the game, being in the trenches and all that. So then when I thinned out and became fast, it was like I was so used to being tough because I, you know, my 7, 8, 9 years, I played offensive guard. Now it's 10U, and it's like, man, you know, Zoe is getting fast. They put me at fullback.
Yeah.
And now it's, you know, they giving me the ball, and I'm breaking them. They're like, hey, we might as well put them at tailback. You know what I mean? And then I played running back all through high school. I played safety and corner too. If a team had like a real fast guy, because I became real fast, they would put me on defense, but I was really focused on offense. And when I got to college, I went to college as a running back, and my freshman year, we had a guy by the name of Travis Prentice, Touchdown Travis back then. And as soon as I got to the school, they were like, yeah, you know, we got Touchdown Travis. He got the touchdown record, 78 in a career, and he still got, you know. So it was like, oh. So
Better
then
Find a new position.
Find a new position. So I'm on scout team for a year, and they put me over here at corner, and then I end up making a few plays, and then here it is. I'm a cornerback.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you were saying you were getting faster, is that because you were training outside of football? You were like training for it to get faster, or?
Absolutely. So the training piece has always been, you know, like something that I wanted to explore. You know, I love working out. I love training. You know, back in the day, we didn't have the fancy facilities that we have now. You know, we would go to the
Sandlot,
stadium.
dude. Yeah.
Yep. We go to the nearest stadium, which was John Adams High School, and we would run with like rocks in our book bags and do the stadium stairs, you know, which simulating, you know, some resistance training, and those were the type of things we find hills and run hills and you know, do those type of things to try to get better, you know.
Bro, when you're little, is there anything worse than running stairs? It's the worst, man. Like when you're little, there's no worse conditioning than that, man.
It definitely.
Gassers.
Talk about mental toughness, man.
Yeah.
That is it right there. And it's funny too that you mentioned you started out playing guard too, because you forget that, you know, when you're a little kid, everyone's like the same size.
Mm-hmm.
So people were just like trying to figure out like where
You're saying though,
these
speed
people-
changes everything, man. When you're when you're a little kid, you know, the fastest kids, everybody knows who the fastest kids are.
Exactly.
But man, puberty is a bitch for a lot of kids.
Exactly.
Changes everything.
Yeah, it changes everything, man. And that's what I try to tell my kids. I'm like, hey, look, you never know what your body gonna do. You never know.
Yeah.
You know, I've had guys that was huge. I'm talking about 10U look like an adult, and you see them as adults, and you're like, dang,
You
look the
peaked
same.
at 10.
You peaked at 10. Like, you had the little peach fuzz coming in at 10, and you was about 5'8", and everybody else was like 5'2", and you was a giant, and they was asking for your birth certificate everywhere we went. And
I was that
look
kid.
at you like, dang,
dude. I had a
look the
mustache.
exact same.
I had a mustache, like obviously like a peach fuzz mustache,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 5'8" and 220 in 8th grade,
Right.
and then I graduated high school at 5'10", 240.
Right.
So
yeah.
wasn't a whole lot of change
Wasn't
from
a
8th
whole
grade
lot
to
of
senior
change.
year. You know.
Exactly.
So was it Cincinnati that you graduated from high school?
No, Cleveland.
Or
So
Cleveland,
I'm actually
I mean?
from Cleveland. I went to St. Edward's High School in Lakewood, Ohio, which is basically a suburb of Cleveland.
Nice, man.
Yep.
Did you get recruited out of high school?
So yeah, so it's funny. Like again, that's why I try to reiterate my program towards So our coach in Little League, who was Coach Bruce Walker, he would reach out to high schools because, I lived in a, less fortunate area. And he would reach out to good high schools, like the Catholic high schools that was putting out, getting kids scholarships and stuff, and invite them to our Little League games. Mm-hmm. And so he invited Coach McQuaid, who was actually the head coach of St. Edward's back then, to come out and come to some of our games. So St. Edward's is an all-boy Catholic school, basically like a Rockhurst here.
Private school.
Yeah, private school. Mm-hmm. College prep, you know what I mean? It's about an hour from where we live. So he would invite them out to our games and stuff, and they would come out and basically do recruiting as a high school. Catholic high schools can recruit, whereas the local high schools, wherever your address, that's where you got to go. But Catholic high schools, they could bring in kids from all over. So they would be at our games, and all of the other kids was like, "Oh, boys, I'm going to Kennedy. I'm not doing that." You know what I mean? And even me, I'm like, man, Mom, come on.
Yeah, it's hard to get on board with that at that age.
Yeah, she's making me go to the little, school events to check it out. But they're coming to our Little League games and basically recruiting us like college.
Yeah.
And it was me and maybe two other guys that initially went. DeJuan Gross, he actually played in the league too, his little brother. We all came from the same organization. So DeJuan Gross went first, and it's like, okay. DeJuan was a year older than me. And it was like, okay. He goes, he plays as like a freshman. Next thing you know, he's all over our local paper. And our city schools, they're not even credited. Like, it's your mom and dad at the game. It ain't no colleges, and you're not gonna get a lot of love. So I'm looking like, man, this dude's in a plain dealer. Man, this might not be too bad after all. You know what I mean? So again, I wasn't the best on my team, but I was the one that said, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try. And I really feel that if more kids now, when I go back, more kids, I go into school, and this was a school that was a predominantly white school. I'm coming from an urban area. 3,500 students, 8 blacks, you know what I mean? Had to dare to be different, you know what I'm saying? Which makes me comfortable in any room now. It was one of the best decisions that I ever made.
Especially at that age, man. What an impressionable age. That's crazy.
At that age, with all of the outside factors, you know what I mean? And it's still to this day, those 4 years of me being at St. Ed's was some of the best years of I got the best friends. Like, if anything was to happen to me, I know who I can call on. And it's a lot of my friends from that experience. So I ended up going there and, ended up getting a scholarship at Miami. And now it's tons of kids from our area that go there. So it's like, it's a beautiful thing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the NIL, what's going on nowadays. Have you dealt with that much as far as with the kids that you have working with you?
Yeah, so it's a few kids. Actually, at the high school that we're at, that we're tied with, I don't know if y'all know, we had the #1 defensive player in the country, William. He ended up verbally committing to he signed a letter of intent to Mizzou, but he had every school in the country. Like,
well, this is crazy. I just heard this over the weekend, Kyle. This will blow your mind too. So tell me if I'm wrong here. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But Mizzou, not just Mizzou, but the state of Missouri passed a law
that they're allowing the kids to get their money before they're 18. So you could be in in high school.
If you commit to a school inside Missouri.
If you commit to a school
like that. Look at that. Good move,
Good
Missouri.
job, Missouri.
And Missouri
fine
State.
print.
Yeah.
Fine print.
Yeah.
Fine print.
But my point is, though, so we have this
So
number
you're going to
one
get like these, a lot of kids are 18 their whole senior year, bro.
dude, and he's talking about not 18.
Oh, yeah. Down to like, what?
Yeah.
He's talking about junior in high school.
In Missouri, long as you're signing to a school in Missouri,
You can collect that check.
you can collect that check.
Well, but can you collect that check or your parents have to collect it? Or like, how does that work?
Now, that I don't know.
That's
But
a real fine print. But,
But
the bottom
it's-
line is you get your money at 17.
you getting
That's
your money
cool.
early.
That's cool.
And my other question is, so here, this is the big question, is after they turn 18 and they get a chance to leave school, can they change their mind right then and there? Or do they got to at least play a year? See where I'm coming from? Because it's like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to Missouri. Give me that money.
Yeah,
And then he's like, all right, but for real, though, I'm going to Alabama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's tricky. But
What's your perception of that?
Man, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
From a jealous standpoint,
Yeah.
it's like, fuck.
It's true
But-
because it's like,
you go.
from you see what I'm saying?
392K.
You see what I'm saying? And that's per year. That's per year. So his deal, that's
What?
so you talking almost $2 million to go to high school. I mean, to go to college.
good
You
for
know what I
him
mean?
though, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I
so-
like that guys are making money. I don't know what it's going to do to the sport. But
and this is where, like, it's so funny. When I was in college, you have those FSW, those family studies classes, which will have, you have 2 athletes and 60 regular students, and we would have these debates, you know what I'm saying, about what's deserved of the student and all that. And, we used to always make them blue in the face by saying, we should be paid. Back then, this was us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we just played a game that brought the school $2 million last week. And that's just one game.
And I can't go to Taco Bell.
You know what I'm saying? And I got to eat the same cafeteria food.
It's
You know what I mean?
It's free labor. Like
It's
if you look at
exactly.
it like on paper, it's free labor.
They transfer it as like, hey, but they got a free education.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
that's good and great. And you know what?
Yeah.
For some students that makes sense. Mm-hmm. For a lot of them it doesn't.
It doesn't. You know what I mean? And that's the piece that I'm saying is like, it's deserving. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
They got it. You know what I mean? It's like back in the day, your coach would say, hey, go do this commercial with this Chevy dealer, and they may give you a car to drive around in, you know what I mean? And you go do this commercial in the city that you're in, and off of that commercial, they sell 500 vehicles, and they done made $4 million, and they done gave you a Chevy Cobalt to drive for the school year and send you on your way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, now it's like, no, Chevy, you need to come with $1 million, or I'm going to go over here to Ford. You know what I mean?
It's the free market. If you like free market, you should
get
like
what
that.
you
I
get
do
what you
think there
deserve.
are some like drawbacks to it because obviously it's like, it can get, it almost takes like, like the, I don't want to say innocence out of football, but like, football is such a, it's like a pure thing in high school. And it's like,
Treating these kids as adults now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that I don't like, is because I will say I had fun with football, little league, high school, college, pros. I had more fun at practice in the pros. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Once you turn it into a business, it kind of takes a little bit away from the fun.
Yeah.
Like
It's not about football all the time now, right?
It was, picking an agent was one of my most strenuous processes, almost as hard as picking a school. So imagine having to, you getting people banging your lines as a sophomore and a junior in high school, and you don't know anything about the real world, for real. You know what I mean? And now you got to sit in meetings and try to see who I want to have as my management, not an agent, because you can't have an agent yet, but who do I want to have as my NIL management team as a 16-year-old boy?
when I was 16, I was
strong
a
parents
dumbass.
is everything now.
Yeah, so it's like,
Because if you don't have a strong mentor in there, dear God,
exactly.
it's already bad enough in college, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any? Because obviously just to be fair, like there was obviously a lot of time in college where, you know, a lot of these deals were still being done under the table, not $400,000, you know, crazy stuff like that. I mean, you know, the new Manziel documentary just came out on Netflix, and it was really cool to hear his, you know, kind of take on how he was making money, and they were so psyched to make $30,000.
Man, listen,
He's
the Heisman winner, right? Reigning Heisman winner, making $30K.
You ball out in the game.
Yeah.
You see that booster, and he give you that handshake, and you knew which boosters was giving the handshakes. You get that handshake, you got you $300 bills. You was excited, bro.
Yeah. Well, you about to ball out for a night or two?
We about to kick it tonight, bro. We going uptown.
Yeah.
Man, I just got 200 from you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You was excited. And now it's like these guys is getting millions of dollars.
Comparison is wild. And that's the comparison game is what makes it not fun, right?
Yeah.
And so like there might be a guy who's bigger, faster, stronger who didn't get that kind of NIL deal. And there's, you know, this happens. This is kind of funny. This is my first kind of like parallel for the bodybuilding industry here in town. Me and Kyle first opened up our first business. There was a lot of local athletes that were sponsored by local stores. And we didn't do that. We just were like, hey, mixing business and friendship, it's not going to end well. You know what I'm saying? And so like, we're just going to support you like a friend would, you know, not a business deal. And we had people coming into our store talking smack on their sponsor. And we're like, what's going on? Like, well, they sponsored so-and-so, and they only got fourth on a local show, and I took first in my, you know, and I was just like.
They give me more protein, or they give this person more protein than we get.
Yeah, right. and in my head, I'm like, man, you know, if you never had gotten sponsored, you'd have a totally different view of them.
Exactly.
You know, like it just made it all messy and murky. And so it's like, how quick, right? Are we so quick to be so entitled when, you know, you're over here just psyched about the $300 bills being put in your hand? This guy probably who's like, you know, second string pissed off because he only got $10,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's crazy is that everyone is getting something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If you got offers, you know, everyone's getting something. It's like
I heard a deal that's going on. That if you were to let's say someone's getting a massive deal, they'll literally be like, I want this, but I also want to make sure all the offensive line get this. Because I want the offensive line to block me more, block for me.
It's leverage. It's so much leverage in the game, you know, and it's all money driven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And I don't know everything because I'm very far, you know, removed, but I hear things, you know what I mean, and I'm doing research. I got a older son. He's at Friends University, so it's a little different, you know, at an NAIA school, but you know, it's a good school. So it was our process with him was a little different, you know what I mean. But I hear from the kids, you know, at North of what's going on. You know, our head coach son got 40 offers. He's a wide receiver. He's a junior. You know what I mean. He's top 5 at his position. You know what I mean? And I hear the thing in the country. Wow. Ooh. Right in Lee Summit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I hear the things that they, you know, I see him coaching his balls out on Friday and having to leave the game and fly out to Oregon or fly to, you know, and it's like
take those trips.
Yeah, it's serious. You know what I mean? So and having to deal, the good thing with our program is, you know, the reason I gravitate to Mosey a lot is because he's more than a coach. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of kids is gravitating out there because he does more than what a regular high school coach does. He really cares about these kids. You know what I mean? So the other 12 kids that's getting offered, you know, he's sitting in those meetings like a dad and on top of his son's meetings, you know, like totally. As a dad, you know what I mean? I believe every meeting that William had, Mosey was present, you know what I mean? With a voice, you know, not just there to be nosy, you know what I mean? So This is the head
coach of Lee Summit North we're talking about?
Head coach of Lee Summit North, yes. So it's crazy, man. Like the way that athletics has turned today is tough.
It's constant evolution.
I heard like female basketball players right now are making far more through their college deals.
Yep.
Like so
Then the
they will.
WNBA.
Yep. In the WNBA.
And that makes sense because of the attendance.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like so flip flopped where it's like now those deals it's like you got to really make your money in those 4 years if you're a female athlete.
Yeah, because it's just, and I feel bad for those girls. You know, you play at Tennessee. Every one of your games got 30,000 fans at it.
Sold out. Yeah.
You go number 1 in the draft to the best team in the WNBA, and your attendance is 4,000. It's like, how?
It's great.
You know what I mean?
It's, the culture of it, right? So, like, imagine you're going to a city like you're in Tennessee, right? You're in Knoxville. I've been to Knoxville.
Yeah,
there ain't nothing to do in Knoxville,
right?
And so, you know, if you have a perennial powerhouse program, you know, what's her name? Pat Summitt.
Yeah, Pat Summitt.
Pat Summitt coaching you at the time. You obviously that's the number 1 ticket in town at the time if Tennessee football isn't killing it, right? And so that's what you're gonna go. But then you sent, you know, she gets number 1 overall draft pick. She's going to New York. Well, what are we talking? I mean, like there's 25
there's
better
a million
tickets
things to do in New York.
You know? So
yeah.
You know, remember, what was that? The number 1 female athletic event of all time just happened.
Oh, Nebraska
volleyball, bro. Did you see that?
Yep.
That crazy?
Crazy.
And you're like, I mean, it was like 80,000 people, and it's like, dude,
for a volleyball game.
And you don't want to, and like, dude, nothing to undercut these athletes. They're phenomenal athletes. They deserve all of the attention that they're getting. But you're like, all right, well, what else are you gonna do in Nebraska, bro?
Right.
Like, we live pretty close.
Exactly.
We know.
Well, also you have with universities, you have the alumni of that university who's always going to be supportive of the athletics that are happening in that university. Versus if you have like, you know, a WNBA team in you know, New York City, people aren't like built-in loyal to that. You know what I'm saying? Like they would be to like their college.
Yeah, you got to create a culture, and it's got to last. Yeah, that's for sure, man. But yeah, man, sports is just, it's unlike anything. Like we all grew up loving it. We all grew up watching it. We all grew up playing it. And now it's just like, you're just watching it unfold in front of your eyes. And it's just crazy. My buddy was in, you know, just like I'm sure you were, in NCAA football, right? He was in NCAA March Madness, EA game. And, you know, he was just point guard number 0.
Yep.
And he got that check for like $700.
Their royalty,
something like that. He's like, I bought a new flat screen TV.
Yes, sir.
And again, he's like psyched about it, right?
Yeah.
And you know, these kids nowadays are like, well, I need at least 3 TVs before I could.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Sure. So you go to University of Miami. Was there a ballin', just crazy recruiting story that you want to share? Please.
It's. I'm gonna say I had some good hosts. You know, on my visit, and I had a lot of fun. You know what I mean? When I went to Miami, it was kind of a sleeper school. Like I had bigger offers. I had Iowa. I was at Michigan every weekend. I was talking with Louisville. I had a few offers. Miami was my first, and Miami it just made me feel like family. Like, you know, they won over my parents, and then it was just like, okay, I need to do what's best for me, and I want to make mom and dad, you know, proud and happy at the same time. You know what I mean? The big schools, you know, I was a number.
Sure.
To Miami, it was like they knew my cousins in Alabama. You know what I mean? They researched that much and cared that much that they wanted to know everything about me and wanted to help in any way to get me to get there, you know what I mean? And that went far, you know what I'm saying, you know, for me. So it was kind of shocking to a lot of the bigger schools when I chose to go to Miami, because Miami is considered a mid-major, but we beat all of the big guys, you know what I mean? So
especially your guys' years, bro.
Yeah. Especially we had a real good class. But yeah, man. So I go down there and I'm just like, Oxford, Ohio. So I had a host. His name was DeMario, and they took me out. And I'm like, man, this ain't too bad after all. And I just seen how personal everything was. You know what I mean? They go to the Oxford downtown, and you go in Skyline Chili, and the workers that know your name, or, you know, hey, DeMario, you want your same? And I'm just like, dang, this is like real love up here, man. You know what I mean? I go to Michigan, and it's like outside of the position coaches, what's your name again? You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, this is home. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, for them to take you in, care about you from the get versus,
absolutely.
Just we'll see. They're real hesitant to loving on you at the other schools and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Do
I think that's what's like if you look at Alabama right now, why they're having problems with not being the powerhouse that they once were, is just purely from the standpoint of like just what you're saying. It's like, you're not able to get as many good recruits purely because people are like, well, especially with the NIL.
NIL.
I was like, NIL changes everything, dude.
It changes everything because it's like I could
even
go
the playing field.
Yeah,
and
it could go there, but I could go to this school and start and have the same amount of money I'm making.
Years prior to the NIL, I mean, we're talking like the last 4 or 5, I think. There was a lot of stuff being said about money being like, it's just basically like, we all know this NIL is going to pass anyway, so let's start. I'll never forget when Ole Miss had the #1 recruiting class. Everybody's like, well,
we see who got the biggest pockets.
They're like, there was like, when's the 30 for 30 going to get made about this recruiting class being completely bought?
Right, exactly.
Because like, there's no way this school should be getting the #1 recruiting class.
Yeah, and I mean, you take guys like Will. He had an Alabama offer. Just picture that 6 years ago.
Oh yeah,
Nick Saban coming to your house and offering you, and you telling him, "Nah, I'm gonna go to Mizzou."
Like, no, sir.
Would have never happened.
Nick Saban, you gonna pay me when I'm 16?
Right.
No, okay, nah.
Yeah,
He's
now
like,
I'm going.
well, I
to Mizzou.
legally can't, but
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. But yeah, that's the thing. You got that money factor now. So all of the big dogs, can be made little dogs if you don't got the money. You know
We're
what I
seeing
mean?
it, dude. I mean, like, hey, what Deion's doing in 1 year.
Yes. Listen, I mean,
overnight.
It's kind of like almost like MLB. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's
limitless
like,
pockets.
Yeah, it's like who
Yeah.
has the most pockets because that's who's gonna rise to the top.
Absolutely.
Does that change anything in the way that you you train your actual athletes because of this? Because like do they push themselves as hard, et cetera? Like, because you know what I'm saying? Like with like load management in the NBA and people don't want to get hurt and people aren't playing preseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, are high school kids starting to hold back?
Yeah. So, kind of hold back, but then too, it's like, money is like trumps all. So it's like to give them something at this early of age to look forward to. Back in the day, it's like, hey, I'm trying to go pro. In the 8th grade, it's like
It's so far away.
so
it's
far
almost
away.
like
It's
not
like,
a real thing.
yeah, okay, I'm gonna keep working. I'm not gonna stop working. But you could sit here and tell an 8th grader, hey, look, if you do what you're supposed to do, in 2 years you could be a millionaire. Okay, let's lift more, let's run more, let's you know what I mean? It's like, and then to be able to touch it, that's what I be telling my kids, that's in my program. Like back when I was in Little League and kids had the pro aspirations, it was like so far-fetched. It was like we would see a Bernie Kosar and people would want to like pass out. Oh my God, that's Bernie Kosar. You know what I mean? Nowadays it's like, oh yeah, you in Walmart and here comes, you know what I'm saying, 3 Chiefs players, and it's like, Mom, he plays for the Chiefs. Can I ask for his autograph? And it's like, okay. My son, we go to games and we be in the locker room and it's like he's on his phone. You know what I mean? It's like
Crazy.
We're in the locker room where Travis Kelce is, you know what I mean? Or we're at an event where all of these superstars is and he's on his phone on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Because the pro athlete, and I will say it's not for everyone, but that's the beauty of, people working hard. You live in Lee Summit. A lot of athletes live in Lee Summit, which means a lot of these kids, these former players like myself, kids are in Lee Summit. So now, Bobby Bell's grandson is at Lee Summit North, and now he's at Air Force. You know what I mean? I mean at Navy. I'm sorry. Ooh, that was a bad mistake. But yeah. So it's like you could touch your dream so easily now to where it's making kids like feel like this is real life, but I still have to like bring them back down. Like, look, do you understand there's 16,000 college seniors that enter their name into the draft. There's 255 that get picked. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's still
Jamal Charles.
Yeah, one of my best friends. Yeah, it's still something that has to be worked for. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah.
That whole thing can breed complacency or it can create motivation.
We're saying you got two. It's when does the line flirt with entitlement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where awesome that we've removed these limiting beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They thought in their head, I couldn't possibly get there. Now it's like, well, I already know I'm going, so I don't have to work as hard.
Exactly.
And where does that line bleed, right? Because it's like, hey, it's not entitlement. It's just, I'm glad you think it's possible, but it's not for sure.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There's a definite fine line, you know, and you have those kids that, you know, you're third string and you saying you want to get a scholarship from Oregon. It's like, oh, son, we need to look at UCM, you know, Avila, you know, we're going to get your school, you know, we're going to get your school paid for, because in the end, what these kids have to realize is that, you know, football, the NFL, the three letters, there's a meaning, you know, NFL, not for long. You know, you're going to work way longer than you're going to play football. So if we could get your school paid for and get you set up for life after football, whether if it's immediately after college or whether if it's 8 years down the line after you play pro ball for 8 to 10 years, we're basically just trying to get you aligned to where you get it paid for, you get a jump start on life after football. So
no debt.
Yep, no debt.
That's the beauty of it, man. And that's like, I'm glad that you look at it like that, because it's so tough for so many people to believe that after it's done, right?
Yeah.
You had your stints in the NFL. Let's talk through the Chiefs, the Jets, right? Yeah, I saw your post about Darrelle Revis going into training camp. This new young hot shot, and you're like, oh, let's see how good he is. And you're like, damn, he good.
He's
pretty good.
Yeah. He's one of them.
One of the few.
One of the few. Yeah, man. It was a great experience, man. It was a dream come true. Like, I was one of those kids that, you know, I had a good supporting cast. You know what I mean? My mom and dad did everything they could, but on top of that, like, you know, my hood, as they say, backed me. You know, it was times where I wanted to stray left, and they'd be like, "No, we going. You take your butt home, because you're gonna be the one that make it out, and you gotta, you know what I'm saying, come back and get us, you know, type deal." So, you know, it was really a village for me. So, you know, it was a family win for me to go. You know, more so than, oh, I got drafted. It's Alphonso. It was like we got drafted, you know, totally. 300 people got drafted when my name got called, you know what I mean? Because it definitely took everybody, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of outside factors that could have, you know, steered me left, and it never would have happened.
At that point in your life, was that the most proud day of your life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it was, you know. It was amazing. It was crazy because I was missing two of the most important people in my life. My mom passed my junior year, and my brother had just got incarcerated. So he was there on the phone, but he wasn't, you know, in person. You know what I mean? Be there physically. But it outside of that, you know, just having my family, my friends, everyone that, you know, was invested in me there, and not worrying about, you know, oh, we about to get this money. It was just pure love. Was like, man, this is amazing. I more so love the experience to be able to share it with others who you know, coming up the way that I did. You know, it's inspiration, you know, more than anything. You know, I didn't have the best pro career and, you know, win Super Bowls and start a bunch of games, but I made it, and I could sit here and tell this 7, this 8, this 10, this 11-year-old kid that, you know, is growing up the way I grew up. Like, you know, look at me. You know what I mean? I didn't have it all, but look, hey, my name was called on ESPN, so I think I can help you. You know what I mean? Just trying to give back.
Well, dude, I think the real success of your life is not just based on the football. It's
Exactly.
like your success after football. Because
Oh,
like you
dude,
were
the
saying, dude,
impact
it's
you're
like,
making on these kids.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's it. You know what I'm saying? And so like if you can get through to them and let them realize that like life is not football.
Exactly.
Football is a big part of it, and you learn. For me, like my wife, we were having this conversation the other day because I got a son. She's like, I don't know if I want Sully to play football, and I said, babe, the most important things I learned in this life are like on a football field.
Nice try, Mom.
And that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, like I run open practices, because I want the parents to learn as well. You know what I mean? Parents need to hear some of this stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That I'm saying. So I encourage all my kids, parents to, be on the sidelines. You have those coaches that be saying, just drop the kids off. No, I don't want you to. I want you to see and hear these experiences and all of these things that I'm sharing with these kids, because not only them need to hear it. You know what I mean? Some of the parents need it as well. Because I tell them the game of football really gave me everything I have. You know what I mean? And it's not just the football part of football is probably the least, accomplishment that I have within the game. You know what I mean? Like if I got married today, you know what I mean, and had 15 groomsmen, 13 will be teammates. You know what I'm saying? Like if I died tomorrow, the eight pallbearers is probably gonna be 6 football players, and it's gonna be from all different teams. It's all different. Like I can go through one thing in life, and I would feel like I could be going through something, and I could be like, oh yeah, my boy Lazy went through that. Let me call him. I jump in our group chat. Hey, who got Marcus' number? You get Marcus' number, and you call Marcus, and it's like you get on the phone, and it's like, I feel like I just talked to you yesterday, bro. I ain't talked to you in 4 years, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and then you talk that through, and it's like football did that for me. You know what I mean?
Brotherhood, man.
Brotherhood, and that's our motto. You look at everything we wear on the back; it says brotherhood. With my organization.
That's awesome.
That's
dude.
dope,
So I want to go back just to that draft day experience, because I grew up loving the draft, watching it as a kid.
That's true. He's a nerd.
Tough.
We were talking.
After we get done, after the draft, Jeff will be like, dude, did you see, who the Chiefs took 7th? And I was like, dude, no, I didn't see who the Chiefs' 7th pick was.
Man, so-
I care. And the reason why is because but as I get older, I went like a decade not watching it as intently as I did, because I was so crushed as a Rams fan growing up in St. Louis when they left. But when you watch as you get older, man, now I'm 35 years old, and so I'm like in NFL age, I'm retired.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so I'm watching these guys get drafted, and it's like, dude, they just have no idea. Like people that are watching, it's like, dude, this person's life, they have no idea like what, like most people would not consider how much energy and time and practices and those, not just Friday nights, but Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights. And like, dude, I mean, did you watch, what was that linebacker's name out of Notre Dame? That was like the Hawaiian guy.
Manti Te'o?
Manti Te'o. Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
Crazy, right? But like
Crazy.
his dad taking his car and turning his headlights on the car and having him run drills by himself on a Monday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, those nights are all worth it in that moment. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you got your own headlights on at 8 p.m. kind of stories, right? And it's like,
Rocks
dude,
in the backpack.
Rocks in the backpack.
yeah.
Seriously.
And like, man, all that shit worth it in that moment. Just that snap of a finger, like we made it.
We made it. My draft day experience was a tough one. It was a tough one. Like
projected round, or
so I actually should have came out my junior year, but I stayed. But I stayed my senior year. So so my draft day, me and my agent, he's giving me the projections, and he's like, yeah, you're going first day for sure. You go either second or third round. So all my family, just like I told you, all my friends, I'm over at my brother's house. He's incarcerated, but I'm over at my brother's house. So we did our draft party there, and it's probably 300 people there, like crammed in this little neighborhood house. You know what I mean? For the draft. And we're watching the draft. First round go by. I was expecting not to go in the first round, so that was easy. We're still having fun. You know what I mean? Second round come, it's like, okay, the palms are getting a little sweaty. You know what I mean? You got your phone in your lap. You just waiting to hear it buzz or ring, and then it's like, okay, the second round goes. It's like, okay, this is my round. I'm talking to my agent. My agent's like, yeah, the Chiefs loves you. I think this is the round that they're gonna take you in. You know, the Chiefs, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really like you. You know, and they are, you know, saying that they're gonna come and get you this round. So, you know, I'm sitting there. I'm just waiting. I'm watching. Pick one go by. Boom. Pick two go by. Pick down to pick 20 then went by. Now it's only like 15 picks left in the third. And I'm just like, everybody's getting a little restless. It's been a long day, you know.
It's a long night.
It's a long night that they want.
They don't do
you
it
know
like
what
that
I mean?
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They changed it. So they get to like pick 99 it was. And the Chiefs called me. So the Chiefs called and they was like, you know, I could just hear the draft room talking, you know, and they're like, no, take Hodge, you know, take Hodge. And then I hear them just conversating in the background, and then the phone hangs up. And I'm like, okay, they didn't say nothing. So we're watching, and they picked Dustin Colquitt, a punter.
Yep.
I'm like, wow. Well, that wraps up the day one. We'll see you. And I got all these 300 people looking like, what do we do now? And I'm just like, I go upstairs and I'm just in the room like, you know what? I don't even know what's going to happen at this point. Like, so they were like, it's okay. You're going to go. You're okay. And I'm just like, y'all don't understand that this is nothing's guaranteed until it's guaranteed. You know what I mean? And I'm just like crushed. I'm devastated. Like, so the next day.
And to be clear, you're young as shit in this moment.
Yeah.
22 years old.
Yeah, 22 years old. And it's like, you've been, and it's just so hard because you've been training this last 2 months. You know, I'm in Atlanta and I'm out there with Mike Williams. I'm out there with all of these guys that didn't win. And it's like, man, and you get to seeing guys like
Mike Williams, wide receiver for the Lions.
Mike Williams for the Lions. Yep, he went to USC. Remember, he tried to come out as a sophomore and they wouldn't let him. He was part of that like Maurice Claret deal.
Yeah.
But he was just highly touted. I think he went 10th or something like that. But it was other guys that was there, you know what I mean, that had win. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, what is about to happen? So my family's trying to stay positive. They want to do a party the next day the same way. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this. I will not sit through this again. So I didn't do the party the next day. And I'm literally just watching the draft with a couple people and, you know, not no big party or nothing like that. I don't even think I was with my dad at the time that I got drafted. It just was a few of us just at a house watching the draft. And same deal. Fourth round went. Actually, the Jacksonville Jaguars called, you know, didn't pick me. So then the Chiefs' next pick from their third pick was 136. So they called me at 136 and they like, okay, we're gonna draft you. But if we don't draft you with this one, we're gonna draft you in 10 picks, and we're pretty sure we'll be able to get you. They ended up not drafting me. They draft Boomer Grigsby. You remember him? He's the linebacker. Boomer. So they drafted Boomer. Then they ended up drafting me 147. And I ended up coming to the Chiefs. It was once I seen my name, it was like, whew, we did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Didn't go where I wanted to go, but to be a part of the 0.0001325%,
yeah.
Crazy,
I was
dude.
like, you know what? It's time to celebrate.
You got drafted higher than Tom Brady, dog.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So once I got drafted, it was just amazing, man. Just to see, you know, the look on everyone's face of win, you know what I mean? Of, you know, just of the win. Because everybody, you know, like I said, it wasn't just a win for me. It was a win for us all, you know what I mean? Because everybody was invested in the win.
Mm-hmm. And, dude, a lot of sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Not
for
just
everybody.
from you, but from everybody.
You know, I be telling kids, like, you know, I keep saying one day I'm going to write a book, you know, or get with a film director to kind of tell my story. But, like, imagine being, you know, a 14-year-old boy and you decide to dare to be different and go.
That's the name of the documentary, by the way.
Yeah. And go to this all-boy school, you know, with 8 kids that look like you. But to get there, you know, and this is how the world is so different. Like, I be telling people, like, it's just crazy. Like, just to go back a little further, not to, change the subject, but like, I was a 10-year-old boy riding my bike 10 miles to practice, you know what I mean? Across the, highways, regular streets to get to practice. My 8-year-old son, he's outside for 30 minutes and I don't see him. I'm freaking out. Like,
different times, dude.
Where's Aiden? Where's Aiden? I'm walking around the neighborhood barefoot. Look, okay, there he is. Okay. But
bro, this is the time frame where you shoulder pads on your bike bars.
Or shoulder pads on the bike, water bottle on the other, the helmet, water bottle hanging, and you riding.
That's not just a normal 10 miles. That's with pads.
That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy we're the last generation of that because it didn't feel at all like it was not normal. It just felt so normal.
It just felt so normal.
Yeah.
So I basically say that to say, I'm a 14-year-old freshman and I got to catch 4 buses to even get to school. So you talking a 14-year-old boy leaving his house at 5:30, walking to the first bus stop, catching that bus, getting on another bus, catching the rapid, getting on the rapid, getting off the rapid, getting on another bus to get to the doorstep of St. Edward's High School every day. You know what I mean? You talk about a sacrifice, you know what I mean? And it didn't come easy. You know what I mean? One, to even have the $1.25 to get the bus, to get the transfer, to get to the next, but you know what I mean? Daily, you know what I mean? It just was such a sacrifice to where it made it all worth it. That's why I said it was a win. It was days where, a neighbor would say, hey, you don't got to ride the bus today. I actually got to go on the west side and I'm not going that way, but I'm going that way. I'll take you to school today. And, it was just a neighborhood, a family, a friend. It was a win for us all.
Dude, I just appreciate your story so much because you could so easily just be a victim of your circumstances.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And, you saw, the path wasn't clear at all, but you found a path. Right. You know what I'm saying? And took it. And, I just feel like I wish more and more people had that mindset because it takes zero effort to just say, what was me? You know what I mean?
Who was your hero at that time? Like, what was the inspiration? Because, like, growing up in that, you grew up in basically the same era as us. It's like, was it like Michael Jordan or was it a football player? Who was it?
Man, that's what's crazy. Like, it's real funny because, like, I've never been starstruck. I've never, like, totally looked up to a person. You go in these kids' room and they may have Michael Jordan fat head or Deion Sanders fat head or, you know what I mean? I never had, like, I had such a unique upbringing. I can tell you guys stories that you just be like, wow, my mom and I can say this, my mom was a real hustler. It was times where I won't say names, but we would hold she would hold card games, you know what I'm saying, at our house, and she would house card games, and it would be NBA players there in the neighborhood. And they're playing with brown paper bags full of money, with gambling cards.
It's like a Molly's game situation. If you've seen that,
and it's like player, guys would send me to the neighborhood store, which was called Sarge, and for now laters, and give me a 20 and tell me to keep the change, and I go buy $2 worth of now laters, and I have $18, and I feel rich for about 2 days. You know what I mean? And it's like. So coming up like that, my uncle was my uncle in Akron. He's actually the American Gangster story. He's in it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna disclose his name and all that, but one of the characters is him, and this is my real uncle. You know what I mean?
After we turn these mics off, you're gonna tell me who to look for.
Yeah.
That's a good Denzel movie.
Yeah. So it's like, this is my uncle. You know what I'm saying? We're poor down here, but he's in Akron. He has 6 car lots and grocery stores, and
you get LeBron that Hummer. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
you do.
So you know what I mean. So he's rubbing elbows with all the stars because he's one of them. You know what I'm saying? He went to jail and did a bunch of time, but he's one of them. So like I've never been real starstruck. So because I had nothing, but I was always around stardom to where it was like, I just knew, like, man, I'm going to the league. Like, my uncle used to hang with David Dunn, who was a a player for the Browns, and he used to be at our house. So like I always was around it to where it was like I'm going. You know what I mean?
It sounds like you had that standard for yourself at a young age.
Yeah.
And so like if you truly believe that, you know, you're meant for this path, you're going to look for that path, even if it's really hard to find, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We talk about this with our staff here, even like when we talk to somebody in their like final interview, we can tell from just a conversation like how much they think of themselves and where is like the bare minimum for them. You know what I mean? Some people come in and they think in themselves like, hey, you know, I want to own one of these supplement superstores one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's some people that are like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of figuring myself out. And it's like, well, eventually you got to make a decision, right? And like ride with it. And you just made your decision way earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like way earlier.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
It was challenging though. You know what I mean? Again, like it was so much, and that's why like I model myself as being purpose driven. You know what I mean? Because I'm here and able to tell these stories for a reason. Like, you know, there's so many more horror stories that I could tell you of experiences that I had, but it's like for me to still be here, you know, doing what I'm doing, being able to tell these stories, it's got to be a reason. You know what I mean? Because there's so many things that could have took me out or took me left, or that would have changed this story, you know, dramatically. So it's like I gotta continue to, you know, show that, you know, there's a way.
Let's talk about let's just transition into like you know, eventually your ball days are done and you decide I'm gonna, you know, try my hand at being an entrepreneur. What talk about these kind of endeavors you've gotten into and the lessons you've learned there, because it's a totally different ball game there, right?
Totally different ball game, exactly. And again, like I, you know, keep reiterating, it's like I want to be inspiration. You know, you look at our game, which is football, that, you know, I can't remember the exact percentage, but like it's like 80% of the NFL athletes 5 years after they're done playing is broke. You know what I mean? So it's like
Bernie was in that documentary too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like how do I, you know, show these kids that look, I went to the NFL, but I feel like I'm the most successful after football. You know what I mean? It gives them something to look forward to after the game. You know what I mean? And I've had some rough times in my life after football. You know, I'm not going to say I just got done with football, I invested all my money and everything went smooth, because that's not the case. You know, there's been ups and downs in this. You know, there's still ups and downs, you know what I mean, today. You know, but to be able to not be a part of that percentage, to be able to give them something to look forward to when we leave practice and they say, hey, we're going to go to Coach Zoe's restaurant. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's another piece that's going to inspire someone that, you know, oh, I may not go to the NFL, but I want to own a restaurant, or I want to own a gym, or I want to, you know, own a trucking company, or, you know what I mean? Outside of football, it's like, yeah, I was an NFL player, but look at what I'm doing now. These are some pretty cool things as well. You know what I'm saying? And can make similar funds as the NFL. So take a look at this. You know what I mean? It just was another part of my motivation, you know, my motivational piece, to be able to tell these kids like, okay, look, you may not go to the NFL, but look, you got this. You know, our main focus is let's get this school paid for at any level. Let's get this school paid for so we can have an outlet, and then from there we'll figure it out.
That's awesome.
Half the battle with that with kids is having somebody in your life that like tells you can. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like with the business owner thing, it's like, you know, I didn't have an influence in my life that was like, hey, you can, you know, own your own business. I was like, in my head, that's for other people. You know what I'm saying? And so when I did get that influence that came into my life, it changed everything, you know? And so because you're that for kids, man, I feel like that's just such a huge, huge thing. Because in a kid's head, like in my very naive head when I was young, I was like, yeah, I can go to the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It took me growing up to be like, oh shit, this isn't going to happen.
Right.
But I wasn't naive enough to realize that, you know, I can open a business. You know, I needed somebody to step in and be like, hey dude, you can do that, because anybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? Here's the qualities that you need to be able to do it and be successful at it, but you can do it, you know?
Exactly.
So that's a really cool thing you're doing for kids.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I kind of go at life the same way I went at football, you know, because there's ups and downs, there's good plays, there's turnovers, there's fumbles, you know what I'm saying?
Lots of lessons
within life, you know what I mean? So and you know, I try to attack them all, you know what I mean? And like living now today, and you know what I mean, it's not like I'm not a money driven person, you know. I respect the dollar, but I'm not all about the dollar. It brings out the better qualities within me when it's like, I'm not just doing this because, oh, this is going to get me a bunch of money. I'm doing this because, you know, I got a passion for it. And I, you know, if it makes the money,
dollars follow that anyways, dude.
Dollars follow that.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm getting at, is like, it makes it different. You know what I'm saying? Because now being where I had nothing and now I have something, like I know how to live with nothing. So it's like, if I got a little something, I'm cool. Like I don't need, you know, my foundation is laid. You know, I sleep in a nice home. I drive a nice vehicle. So it's like, as long as my bills is paid, I'm cool. Like I can walk into anywhere and the Alphonso Hodge is going to hold more weight than any watch I got on, chain, clothes, car that I'm driving. You know what I mean? Like anything. And that's called character building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want my name to be more valuable than anything, than any asset. You know what I mean? So, and that's the way that I'm attacking life these days, to where I'm not, you know, money driven.
It seems you get the most important thing you can give somebody is your word.
Yeah.
And you treat it like that.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, man, if you can just do what you say you're going to do, you're going to get really far in life.
Mm-hmm.
I think
don't realize it.
when you can be happy with nothing, that's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Because it kind of frees you from like making decisions where you're trapped by, well, if I do this, maybe it's not going to turn out right financially. But if you're happy when you got nothing, it's like, well,
make the money, don't let it make you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot what song that is, but it's a classic.
Here's something that Jeff told me. Jeff told me you got the wing spot going on.
Well, what's the name of the actual restaurant?
Wing Studio.
Wing Studio, located in
Lee Summit.
Let's give it the plug.
Jeff, you haven't had it?
No. Dude, I don't live anywhere near Lee Summit, but I'm saying like, hey, I'm not above it.
There it is.
Hey, very, very, very important question. So, do you consider yourself a wing aficionado?
Listen.
All right,
Here we go.
Class is in session.
Here we go.
I'm ready
Class is
to.
in session.
Hey, just like I said, I treat life as football. I'm willing to, well, not at 41 years old, but back in my day, I was willing to line up with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Then stood in front of the best and covered them. That's how I feel about this wing spot. You know what I mean? I'm willing to line up with the best of them. You bring them, and we gonna bring ours, and we gonna we could go flavor.
Oh, you guys got breaded.
Oh, you guys got the breaded. I like it.
We could go flavor for flavor. You know, we cook our wings naked. You know, we got the tenders. You know, we got buffalo chicken fries. We got, you know, you name it.
Let's go.
I'm willing.
You're telling me you got chicken fries,
Buffalo chicken fries,
like BK fry, like chicken fries. But obviously not that is shit.
He said
buffalo chicken fries. We got special things going on with them buffalo chicken fries that we can't disclose.
I mean, like, so you're telling me there's chicken inside the fry?
Man, listen, buffalo chicken fries.
All right. I'm not kidding. Like I am a aficionado. Kyle is an aficionado. We've had wings all over town.
We're big on wings,
we talk a lot about barbecue on this podcast. But we legitimately are more wing fans. And my question to you is, we've had a long standing argument on this, and we have no research on you for this. But tell me right now,
there's not anyone in this city that can compare to our wings. I'm gonna just say that.
Well,
unless you're cooking, you know, you might have your home remedy, or that that it takes you 4 hours to make because you got to do this, that. I'm talking about you can't find a better wing prepared here in Kansas City in 7 minutes. You know, 7 minutes.
You're dropping them and
7 minutes. You can't find 7 minutes. We're dropping them in 5, and the other 2 is the sauce. Yeah. But within 7 minutes, you can't find a better wing in my eyes in Kansas City.
So if you're going to have a wing studio wing, and it's going to be like the quintessential wing in your favor, like the seasoning or the sauce of your choosing. Are you having it with ranch or are you having it with blue cheese?
See, and that's what that's what makes us so unique is that we have our own ranch. We have studio ranch. So if I'm at
do you have
Wing
studio
Studio,
blue cheese?
no, we don't have studio blue cheese.
I'm
We
a blue
absolutely
cheese guy.
don't.
I'm a
'Cause I'm
blue
a ranch
cheese
guy.
guy.
I'm a ranch guy.
Ranch guy for sure, man. It's just something weird about the crumble and then you gotta chew.
Man.
You gotta chew the sauce.
You're
You
eating
know,
fungus.
yeah, it's like
I just know Jeff,
out
who
here
doesn't
eating
have
mold.
as distinguished of a palate as I have. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I had blue cheese on my salad today,
Oh,
the
okay.
and it was
it's-
great.
it's
It's not
just-
good on a wing.
You know what? It's the crumble for me.
Yeah.
I can't do the crumble.
Yeah.
Like it's
I like ranch, but I'm just saying, like, if you give me
the crumble.
if you know I had one last chance to eat wings and I was gonna eat them with something, it would be blue cheese. That's just me.
And the truth is, like, blue cheese has gotten so much better to me over the years, but it's still not my thing for wings. And so we had this argument, dude. It was like we don't get any traction on any post, but we talk about ranch and blue cheese, and it was like we had like 1,000 votes, people coming out of the woodwork. Like, well, it depends. Is it blue cheese on wings? Because some people are like, blue cheese on wings, definitely better than ranch. Pretty funny. What do we got here?
Come on, man. What do you mean?
Cinnamon twist or something?
Peach cobbler egg
Peach
rolls?
cobbler egg roll.
Let's go.
What's that drizzle on there?
Come on, that's
Tell us
icing.
about the drizzle.
You asking too much. You asking too many
like it's a
questions. You
secret.
just gotta. Hey.
You got a chef? You got somebody that's takes care of that for you?
No.
You do all the
No, not
Oh.
me, workers. But
Yeah, yeah.
no. We don't have special chefs that come in. No, this was all in house.
Nice.
You know,
That's awesome.
me and the other owners, we did a bunch of
Straight made with love over here.
yeah, we did a bunch of taste tests, you know, different products and stuff, and we you know, figured our little motto.
So are we thinking about franchising someday?
Someday, yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. You
Have
know,
you been
what
to
I'm saying?
Wings Stand yet? So Jefferson's is this like a local restaurant that I think they're in Lawrence. They're here.
Okay.
You ever had Jefferson's? Jefferson's is like classic like sports bar and grill type place.
Okay.
And they're trying their hand as well with their own like. I mean, they went all out. They tried. You know, let's put it that way because they spent some money. That's when whenever I say they tried,
Yeah.
I mean like they really tried. So Wings Stand for some R&D on another brand trying to do it.
Okay.
They did
to
like
check it out.
Yeah, they did like for it's bottom line is a ton of sauces, this and that, but it's like every time I go in, you know, there's like 8 people working. I'm like, oh shit, they went all out.
Yeah,
they're trying.
Yeah. And it's crazy being in the business because now me and Brandon's the other owner. Everywhere we go, we always try wings so we could critique them. Like, if they getting it, oh shoot, they charging $18 for this. Oh yeah, we got to go up in price.
Yeah.
We got to. We
wild.
Like everywhere we go, we order wings and we like are in comparison. Like, yeah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Number 1 though, you guys. Who's number 2?
Number 2.
Who's just at the bare minimum just a game recognized game. I got a respect for this wing. Who you think?
And it wouldn't even be chain. It'd be something like, I don't know, like it's some food. I've had some decent food trucks. You know, I think I'm scarred because Buffalo Wild Wings is one of the, you know, college towns, they have like 8 restaurants. You know, and Buffalo Wild Wings is one of the restaurants there. So I know I ate it 4 times a week for 4 years of my life. To where now
this was
like,
back when there was legit
Yeah, I was
25
about
cent
to
wings.
say.
25 cents.
25
The golden
Yeah,
era.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's like, Buffalo Wild Wings. I just had it last Saturday actually, because it's the one restaurant in Lee Summit that stay open late to 1:30 and you can go and get food at 1:30. So like I had it and it's like,
Disappointing.
it gets you full.
Yeah.
It gets you full. You know what I mean? And
You
then
do the Blazing Challenge, though, is the question.
Yeah.
You guys got hotter than Blazing?
See, this is the thing with us. It's like these other restaurants have these blazing challenges, and it's like they don't taste good. They just
True.
Gimmick.
they're just to smoke you out. You know what I mean? They're to make you cry. Like we got an extra hot, but it tastes good to where it's like, you know, this is about to fire your asshole up, but it's
Yeah.
like, it still tastes good. So
But you keep going back.
Yeah, you just keep eating. But it's like, yeah, we even got a dry that's that's pretty smoking too.
My whole thing, I was just talking to Thatcher about this, one of our podcast producers, and I said, because he gave me some habanero sauce to try, and I was like, that's not very good. And I it's not, because you know why? If something's super, super hot and it's like bitter tasting, it's like, this is not good tasting. But if it's super, super hot and kind of sweet tasting, like that's where it's at.
Yeah, spicy and sweet's definitely a good mix. Yeah.
But I'm saying like when you get really spicy, like it's got to, that's why I like jalapenos, because jalapenos naturally are kind of sweet in comparison to like a habanero, which is just like blast you in the face hot.
And that's the thing, like, 54th Street is one of my go-to restaurants as well, and they just pissed me off because they took jalapenos off, and now they're doing fresh jalapenos, and it's like, no, I want the pickled ones. I want the pickled ones. You know what I mean?
We're big pickled jalapeno fans
pickled.
here.
I do not want the fresh ones that's coming out dry with the seeds.
I don't need the QT.
I don't
jalapeno slices. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
like, dude, I don't need to just slice them right now.
Yes, I don't want that. I want the pickled jalapenos back on the menu, please.
Yeah. This is such like a terrible transition, but we got it, like, because we could go on food all day, but we got to talk about Do Work Factory 3.0.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your sports performance gym.
Mm-hmm.
I want to learn so much because I hadn't heard much, because you guys said you guys keep it all word of mouth right now. Mm-hmm. Where is it, and what could you expect from that place?
So that's basically Do Work Factory. That's my sanctuary. Like I spoke on, I like to work within my purpose. I feel like that's really my kingdom. You know what I mean? I started out in the game with the guy Travis Neff. He's doing very well now. We had different visions. I started out working with him at Boost, and they're now transitioned to Exos, and they got multiple of
physical therapy spot.
Yeah, physical therapy and sports performance. Yeah, they got multiple locations, and I started out working with them, and ended up doing my own thing just because I wanted to do something different. You know what I mean? The gym is a kingdom, like, within itself. I try to model it to be like for all. You can come in and you'll see an 80-year-old lady that was in a car accident, or that just had a hip replacement, or you'll see Travis Kelce walk through here at the same time. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be a place for all, and I wanted it to be a place that can accommodate all walks of life, all economic, levels. You know what I mean? So many of these places, like I said, I've had the experience of wanting to go train here, and then you look at it and it's like, Mom, like, oh, ain't no way I can afford to send you to the Euclid Sportsplex. You know what I mean? That stuff's $300 a month. Boy, our mortgage is $600 a month. I can't afford that. So I've been told no so many times because of the money. That's why I had to go run the Adams Stairs with Rock somewhere, because we couldn't afford to go to the few places that we had. So it's like, I wanted to be that outlet for those kids that can't. You know what I mean? There's so many kids that can't. You come in our wall, and I'm not, gonna, not trying to boast or brag, but, you come in our gym and you see all of the jerseys up, and it's just like, yeah, a lot of, maybe 80% of them jerseys came from customers that I may never got a dime from. You know what I mean? And that's just the facts of the business. You know what I mean? But in the end, it's like, look at what I helped do for this person. It's way more fulfilling than the $200 a month they could have been giving me since I started training them, when they were in 8th grade. You know what I mean? So it's one of them businesses that it's not the nicest, but it's the nicest to me. You know what I mean? It's built on love. It's ran on love. So that's why the doors never close. You know what I'm saying? Because God knows that the place is needed. You know what I mean? So it's a place that when you come, you pick up another family. You know what I mean? I have, instances where people get married and they invite me to their wedding, you know, or people have, you know, they get promotions at their job and I'm one of the people they call, or, you know what I mean? It's one of them places
Real
where
family.
like real family. Like you look at the hashtag on all of our stuff is do work family. You know what I'm saying? Once you step in that door, you become family. You know what I mean? It's really.
Damn, it looks super nice. It looks super big too.
Oh, it's big. It's nice, but you know how it goes. You know what I mean?
Comparison game, dude.
Comparison game. You know what I mean? But it's the nicest I've done so far. You know, and I'm satisfied, and everyone that comes there is as well.
Is this location open for the public to come by?
Yes, sir. We're located at 6250 Raytown Traffic Way in Raytown, Missouri.
Very cool.
64133. Yep. And I love it, man. It's I could be having the worst day possible, and when I come in there and them kids get to showing up, it's just like it lights me up.
Good to
like,
go.
Okay, yeah. I'm good to go now.
Football
let's
is becoming year round, man. And
yeah,
you guys
yeah.
seem like you guys have it. You know, the indoor 7-on-7s going.
Yep, and then we have a basketball court as well. So we have our kids that transition from football to basketball once football is done. You know, we have a couple of clubs that rent there that, you know, practice there, and you know, so it's constantly.
Don't let anybody talk you into one more game of basketball.
Look, this was actually 5 weeks ago, and he got me out there. My son was talking trash, and I'm like, I said I would never step foot on this court, and now my son, my baby boy, called me out, so now I'm out here. But you notice I'm moving very gingerly. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm not gonna let this guy ice me. I'm not gonna let him ice me. But you know, if I gotta foul him, I'm gonna use that card.
You might dunk on a little boy in Crocs if he's messing around too much.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I love it, dude. Well, we want to come
dad
by
mode,
and see it,
cheat to win, dude. I'm on that too.
we do reviews as well on here for different kind of protein snacks, drinks, you know, powders and all that. I want to come by and let you try one.
Absolutely,
see what you think.
Man. Absolutely.
And we're going to try some wings.
Absolutely. Hey.
But first, you got to hit him with the last question because I feel like you might have a good answer.
You got it, Kyle. You know what it is.
So, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but we're big on barbecue. We always ask everybody because Kansas City is a barbecue city.
It is.
What is the best barbecue in Kansas City?
And see, this is a very tough question because like we touched on earlier, you know, you got Exos, you got Do Work Factory, you got, you know, it's
different flavors,
different genres.
Yeah.
Is the word. You know what I mean? When I want that backyard boogie barbecue, fingernails black after, I'm going to Gates.
Yeah.
If I want, let me give me some lamb ribs, and that I'm going to Jack Stack. So it's like it just depends on the genre you want to go in. You know what I mean? It's like, do I want to be ratchet today?
But it's your last. Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
But it's your last meal before you go to. It's your last meal.
The last meal.
Your last KC barbecue meal.
I'm going to Gates.
You going to Gates?
I'm going to Gates and get yelled at. Hello, may I help you?
Yeah.
Let me get
Bro, the first time I dealt with that, I was like, man, they really are serious about that.
Yeah,
they're like yell at you when you get up to the. Yeah,
they yell at you.
And if you're not prepared, you don't know. I mean, like I didn't know. I just was like, oh, this is how this goes.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, hurry up.
Right.
That was like one of my first Kansas City barbecue experiences because I had the sauce as a kid.
Yeah.
I was buying the Gates sauce at like St. Charles, Missouri, outside St. Louis, and I was like, oh, there's a restaurant for this. I just thought it was really good sauce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's a good question. We asked this one other time. Does KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce still exist? And if it does, where did that come from? Because no one has ever had KC Masterpiece here. And no one's ever pulled the bottle out here.
No one.
You know what?
It was like the most popular when I was a kid. And I'm like, where does KC Masterpiece come from?
I really feel that Lay's created that and just, you know,
bullshit.
They spent some money, you know what I'm saying? Gave KC, you know, like a few dollars just to be able to use the name.
Yeah.
But I agree. I have yet, and I've ate at every barbecue place now. I've been here now for 18 years, and I've never experienced KC Masterpiece Barbecue
No.
in KC?
Never even seen it. I'm like, why would anybody ever pull that bottle?
Have you guys, either one of you guys ever had Curly's? Curly's
the
barbecue sauce?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's very
Yeah, it's like
It's Curly's. You see it at like
it's here?
Hy-Vee and stuff.
Yeah.
I
I think it's from
here?
Kansas City.
Curly's?
Okay,
Okay,
KC
so-
Soul Style Barbecue Sauce. Who makes it though? It's got to be like Heinz. No, it's a guy. You're kidding me.
Oh, it's the guy.
What about
Oh,
about
he
Leewood?
sold it though. He had to have sold
He
it.
died in Leewood, but he was from Joplin. Okay,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah. But he got bought by.
You feel
scroll
dumb.
right, scroll right. Go to the right. Clorox, dude. The bleach company.
The Bleach Company owned
Come
it.
on.
Isn't that something?
That's not real.
Clorox
That
owns
doesn't
it.
seem right.
Wow.
Man, but
Hey, look up Curly's real quick.
that logo is iconic though.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's-
Curly's barbecue sauce.
But I'm not kidding. As soon as I moved here, not a single time have I ever seen it.
Man,
Crazy, right? You probably forgot it even existed.
I did.
Oh yeah.
I see that yellow bottle, dude.
Oh yeah.
So Curly's is a Kansas City barbecue?
I think so. It's what I grew up eating, and I just assumed.
No, dude, it ain't. This is not Kansas City.
Are you sure?
I mean, you tell me. I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna find out on Amazon though.
I know,
Yeah,
Luke. What are you doing?
Oh, he's
We're not
ordering-
trying to buy it.
He's over here buying a few.
Yeah, bro. We're not. What's the story on Curly's? But we also got so one you haven't had yet. I've mentioned it on the podcast several times now. There's a new one called Wolfpack.
Wolfpack?
Wolfpack Barbecue. It's near the River Market.
Okay.
Downtown area, you know.
Okay. So
And
you
it's
you
awesome.
said the wing stand and Wolfpack.
Yes, and then I would say if you haven't had these wings yet, on the menu at Q39 they say best damn wings on the planet.
Okay.
If you haven't had their wings from Q39, they are the best damn wings I've ever had, and they're very.
You haven't had
specific.
Wing Station yet?
You haven't had Wing Studio.
Yeah.
Studio,
Wing
sorry.
Studio.
My bad.
I haven't had Wing Studio, so to this point they were the best I'd had, and I will say like you were talking about genre wise, they're very unique. So they're barbecue sauced, which I don't typically go with, you know, and they're breaded, but man, they do something wild, man, and I guarantee you they don't do them in 7 minutes.
Right.
But they're good. Yeah, just for some R&D. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Some R&D.
Try out the best damn wings on the planet at Q39, and then me and Kyle were actually really big fans of the fire kissed wings at Jack Stack as well.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Fire kissed wings, but do you like seasoned or you like sauce?
See,
You guys do both. I'm assuming
we do both. We got 10 dry rubs, we got 10 wets.
Damn, you guys are no joke. 20 options.
Yeah.
What do we got here, Luke?
Curly's obviously Kansas City, just as I said.
It was originally for a burger.
Winfield, Kansas. I'm from Wichita, so maybe
The more
that's
you
why.
know. One of those. The more
Oh,
you
you're
know
from
rainbows.
Wichita, so you know a lot about Friends
I know
University.
a
That's
lot
where
about
my-
Friends, man.
that's
I
where my-
had a couple buddies that, when I was growing up that played at Friends.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Is there a good recruiting story for your son at Friends?
Nah.
the best thing, hey,
Not that you know.
Friends acronym became very popular when I was in like high school and college. You know, you remember the hats that were like they would spell out like, you know, OU, right?
Yeah.
Well, Friends was FU. It was a CK or it
Yeah.
might have said FUK.
Yeah.
And people loved it.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah, it's a private school, man. It's a great school to go to. You get some
Super
paper
good
from there.
academically.
Yeah, you get some paper out of there. I think it might be 100, but they're at. I know when we went on our visit, I want to say it was like 98% placement after college, getting into the job,
Getting
you know
an
what I mean?
actual workforce.
You know,
exactly.
I actually
That's dope.
I played high school football with a guy that went to Friends, and well, I didn't play with him. He was like 3 years older than me. I actually can't even remember his name right now, but I think he
Good story,
got
Kyle.
drafted or he got into the NFL in through free agency or something like that out of Friends.
They actually had a guy last year that's he's in the NFL right now. I want to say he's with the. I know he's with the Patriots. I don't know if he's active or if he's
Practice
Yeah.
on
squad.
the practice squad.
Are you thinking for your son? Is he thinking about transferring at all with how crazy it is nowadays?
That's the thing, man. It's so crazy. Like, you know, this is his second year, and he's having a good time with it. He actually just had an injury, so
He's playing ball though.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's solely his decision. You know, like I told him, I said, college is supposed to be an experience that's unique. It's supposed to be one of the best experiences. It's supposed to basically walk you into the real world. You know, you go to college and you don't have to worry about getting woke up and you got to feed yourself. But at the end of the day, you still not fully in the real world. You know what I mean? It's basically like a transition to being a real adult. So I told him, I'm like, as long as you're doing it with no regret, I don't want you to graduate and be like, man, I should have transferred or I should have left. I'm like, then I'm perfectly fine with you staying there. Or if you want to explore different options, you can.
That's cool.
He was a starter as a sophomore. He just, you know how the game is now. He's 5'7" on a good day. You know what I mean? Great player, but you know they just said he didn't fit the mold. You know, because he was so short. So, but do I feel that he could play at a higher level? I definitely do.
Darren Sproles doing okay.
Yeah. You get one or two that do. The guy behind him this year, Deuce is balling with the Cowboys.
That's right.
Deuce Vaughn is balling with the Cowboys. Yeah,
bro.
So
the videos of him when like people are on the field, you're just like, dude, that guy is like gets lost behind people.
How short is Edwards-Helaire?
Edwards-Helaire, he's actually like 5'9" though.
Is he?
But he's 230. 5'9",
He's
230.
wide.
He's a load, but he's over that 5. You know, that 5'6", 5'7" is just like Because I think Deuce Vaughn is 5'5".
They're calling him 5'7".
He's 5'7"
on the program, which means in real life
he might be 5'6".
Yeah.
What's funny
Jared
is
McKinnon looks like he's taller than Edwards-Helaire too. Yeah. Pretty wild, dude. I'll say this: the Chiefs this year, they're still figuring it out. It looks like, but
they are.
I think they're going to be doing just fine.
I think they're going to be doing.
What are your thoughts on the corners?
They're young. I really like Sneed. Sneed's a hell of a player.
I think he's going to go though. I think he's going to get paid.
It's time for him to be paid.
Yeah.
And it's like, so they're transitioning to life after Sneed, so that's why they got McDuffie in there and nickel. You know, Sneed's held that down.
5 corners.
Yeah. Sneed has held that nickel spot, the inside corner down for the last 3 years. But now they're transitioning for life after, so now they got McDuffie in there. You know,
even Nick Jones.
McDuffie's been playing well this year.
Yeah, he has. He actually played well last year. Like I like him. The thing I like about him is that he's a fierce competitor. You know, it bothers me as a DB to see guys get caught on and be okay with it. You know what I mean? I want to see a guy that when another player catches on him, he shows some regret. You know what I mean? Like, just give me a fuck, a shit, you know what I'm saying, a hand clap. I don't want to see you get bean topped for 50 and then you just jog back down the field and get lined up like nothing just happened. I want to see give me something that lets me know that you're competing and not just out here. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about McDuffie is he's a fierce competitor. And they got 2 other young ones with Jalen and them. So I think we'll be good. Like, those guys are going to mature and they
really like this. Nick Jones. Is it Nick Jones? He's injured.
Yeah.
He's the 5th.
Yeah.
They really liked he lacerated his hand or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they're saying he can play. And then from Virginia Tech, the safety Chamari Connor. They're saying he can play in the inside.
He can play as well. So
they're definitely transitioning.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
They're transitioning. I went to a few practices. I took the kids up to the training camp and stuff, and we seen them like they got some players back there. That's how the NFL game is like it's all about opportunity. I talk about my NFL experience, and it's like, do I feel that I could have played and been like a very good football player? Yes, but the opportunity never presented itself. You know what I'm saying? I was
opportunity and situation.
Right? Both at both places. You know what I'm saying? I get drafted here, and then the same year we go sign Ty Law and we go sign Patrick Surtain to a 7-year, $51 million deal. So it's like, okay, no matter if I have 1,000 picks in this training camp, Patrick Surtain and Ty Law is going to be our starters, period. You know what I mean? They're making the money. Patrick Surtain just got $751, and Ty Law is playing on a franchise tag for $10 million because he just been taking 1 year deals because he have 10 picks a year and he's doing what he want to do. So it's like these guys are gonna play regardless. So it was just like, okay, so I'll sit back and play special teams and wait for someone to get hurt, for them to have to put me in here, this rookie that's only making $300,000 while this guy over here is making $4 million, $8 million. You know what I'm saying? That $8 million got to be on the field. We can't play a $400,000 guy over his $8 million. Because that's
he's got to do something really detrimental.
That's gonna get the GM, in hot water. You know what I mean? So it's got to be the injury. You see I pronounce his name wrong every time. 35.
Jalen Watson?
No. The old 35, that's 7 is, what is it, Shark? And not Sharkandrick, that's the running back.
Charvarius Ward.
Charvarius Ward. He's undrafted, and he's sitting back, and, 3 guys get injured, and now he's forced in the game, and he goes in there and ball, and now he's making $10 million a season.
Killing it with the Niners.
Yeah, exactly. But just think that if he would have never got that opportunity, he would have been sitting on the practice squad or sitting as a 5th corner, not dressing. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 years would have went by.
Waiting for his break.
His 40 would have went from the 4.40 that he ran at 22 to now a 4.7. And now the Chiefs say, okay, we had him long enough, and now he goes work out for another team, and he's not as fast, but, and don't get a shot. You know what I mean? And it's
that's why the message you tell those kids is important.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, even if you get your shot, it's nothing's guaranteed, purely dependent on the situation.
Yeah. It's more people that didn't get the shot than people that did.
There's an article that just came out that's like really in depth and like 30 pages long. It's about Blaine Gabbert, backup quarterback for the Chiefs, right? Mm-hmm. He was like he was the 10th overall pick, and it just talked about and he's from Lee Summit.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And man, reading about this guy's story, he's just like, he should have quit so long ago.
Yeah.
But he loves football. He just had so many scenarios where it was like, I got drafted 10th overall to a 1-year head coach, to a 1 year. I had 3 offensive coordinators in 2 years. I had a shot, but it was like a snowball's chance in hell that I was going to be successful. Like my starting wide receivers didn't even make it in the league the year after they got, drafted because of how bad they were comparatively. And so, man, just wild stories about situations like we were saying. And whenever Mahomes came out, everybody obviously, giving him all kinds of hype after he started doing good, right? After he started his second year, because he
was on the Mahomes train.
But
let it be known.
For sure. He sat his first year, but everybody was so quick to point out, hey, the system he's in. He's got Andy Reid. Yes, he's incredible, but and you put Mahomes getting drafted by the Jaguars and
the Bears, where he actually almost did go,
right, and have to start his first year, and you put him with a coach who's unproven, and he's throwing 10 picks in the first 3 games, and everybody's wanting to boo him out of the stadium.
Yeah, and it's such a dog world, because think of what Alex Smith really did. Does Alex Smith really get the credit that he deserves?
Dude, I loved Alex.
Do people understand that we were 14-2 the year before we drafted Patrick Mahomes? You know what I mean?
He won MVP that year.
He might
have never won MVP.
Not MVP. He won
MVP.
Pro Bowl.
He went to Pro Bowl.
Well, he won. Hold on.
But you look at it and it's like people were so ready for who's next, but it's just because we lost some big games, but we were a really good football team. You know what I mean?
For years.
And that year of Pat getting to sit behind him and learn really helped Pat become who he is today. I don't care what anyone says.
And I think Patrick's the first to admit that.
Yeah, it's
learning how to prepare as a pro.
Yeah, so it's like Alex Smith doesn't get the credit that he deserves just because everyone was ready to see what's next.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I was one of the guys that was like, who in the hell? We got Deshaun Watson sitting here. We got, you know what I mean? I'm like, we draft Patrick Mahomes, this baseball player, gunslinger, Brett Favre-like player. And it's just like, I hadn't heard of him. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, okay.
Goes
he
to a
was
Big
supposed to be
12 school, a classic
Big 12
school.
school. So
yeah.
then it's like you get the research. It's like, dang, this dude had a 700-yard game passing. Like, what the heck? Then it's like
Against Baker.
yeah, right. And then it's like, okay, this is not gonna happen in the NFL. I don't care what they saying. He's not about to throw the ball 60 sometimes in an NFL game. This is just college
Sidearm, underhanded.
underhanded, and all this stuff. I'm like, and then you seeing it in the pros, and you're like, wow, this dude's changing the game.
Yeah.
And it's good and bad. You know what I'm saying? I have kids that be like, Coach, is it okay if I do the no look? And I'm like, you can only complete 3 of them looking. Why are you trying to do the no look? No, you can't do the no look. You know what I'm saying? Because all of the kids want to be like him, and it's just like, man, he's really changing the game.
Yeah. And dude, it seems like we're seeing
I see it
more
in
and
all
more
the kids
quarterbacks
with
like
their
it.
haircuts, dude.
Yeah,
all of them have
the Mohawk,
Mahomes,
man,
like haircut.
My son had it
Yeah.
for a very long time. Like
Yeah.
he just cut it off. You know, it's like it's crazy. He's
is
changing
crazy.
the game.
Patrick said in that show Quarterback, though, he goes, I can't be like a father at 2 with a mohawk.
Right, yeah,
And he's still
so
rocking that mohawk.
Still right.
The marketing team was like, nah, man, you got to keep
You
it.
gotta keep it. Isn't it one of his logos is like has his hair in it?
It's
so
the
it's
mohawk
like,
with them glasses,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
big glasses that all of the kids are wearing, the Oakleys or whatever. The kids aren't theirs aren't Oakleys, but you know the big
The A-frames or
rainbow,
whatever.
yeah, the
Yeah.
A-frames, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
so, yep.
so man, we've had such a good time talking, man. It's been
Yeah,
so awesome.
thank
to
you,
meet
man.
I
brother.
really appreciate the
very,
invite.
very interesting conversation hearing about your life and hearing about your gym and what all you're doing, and especially with the kids, man.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Do Work
Absolutely.
Factory in Raytown. Everybody go take it a visit. And if they want to find you on social, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can find me, my personal page at Zoe Monster, which is ZOEYMONSTA, on Instagram and on Facebook. And then you can go check out my babies, my youth football organization at LSN Chiefs on Instagram and Facebook. And you can also find the gym at Do Work Factory 2.0 on Instagram and Facebook. And you can find the Wing Studio on Instagram and Facebook at Wing Studio.
Me and Jeff are
Check us
gonna
out.
report back on that.
Yeah, check
On the
us
wings.
out.
Yeah, with the homemade ranch.
Yeah.
Yes. Studio Ranch. You gotta try it.
I'm all about it, bro.
Don't
All right,
knock
man.
it till you
Thanks
try it.
again,
you so
brother.
much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Good pod, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely.